Ladies and gentlemen, the University of Economics Ho Chi Minh City has been announced to follow the strategy of sustainability and multidisciplinary since 2021. From that day, we have made a lot of effort to reach to this destination. And this special session is one of those efforts. And today, I would like to introduce Associate Professor Bùi Quang Hùng, Vice President of UEH. Prof. Hùng is also the head of UEH Sustainable Project Committee. He is the pioneer and play a crucial role in transforming our university into the multidisciplinary and sustainable university. Yes, please welcome on the stage Prof. Bùi Quang Hùng as the chair of this special session, please.
So, very good morning. We have spent two keynote speakers about sustainability, very interesting and exciting from Professor Triển and Professor Vững. And two of keynote speakers, we talk about the ecosystem, how to enhance the ecosystem for sustainability. And sustainability is a very common word. Everyone know about that, but how it's not easy to achieve the word, exactly the word sustainability. So I think as last night I told to the welcome dinner of distinguished guests that US had choose the right things to start for sustainability. But the important thing that we had to do the right things, the thing right for the further step. So this session today is about how the university to engage and connect to community for the sustainability way and to enhance the community for sustainability. So today we are very honored to welcome three distinguished guests and speaker, Professor Leslie Gold, Senior Technology Advisor and former Chief Technology Officer at World Bank. And the second, Professor Karen Thai Lau, Program Coordinator of the Master Environmental in Science and Management at the Institute of Science and Environment, University of St. Joseph, Macau. And one of my friends from Korea, he just flew last night, Professor Jiyong Eom, Associate Professor at the School of Business, Technology and Management at the Korean Advanced Technologies, Science and Technology. And he also the head of the very new school in the KAIS. It's a School of Green Cloud and Sustainability. And the director of the Center Sustainability Development. So, of course, I'm very honored and very happy to see many colleagues here, US colleagues, to come to this special session. As you know, US are running the sustainability strategy, and we have the communication strategy to spread out the meaning of sustainability to US community. So that's why many US are coming here. And once again, thank you very much for spending your time for coming here. And before this session, special session, I will talk about what US doing with the sustainability and the challenge in this way. And three keynote speakers, we have discussion about the minimum solution for the challenge. I think so. So, first of all, about the US university, we decided to change from the leading business and management university to the multidisciplinary and sustainable university in 2021. With for the sustainability strategy, we focus on 5 pillars: education and research, governance, operation, and community. And in the 5 pillars, we had the model. We had a model we call the University Multidisciplinary Sustainable Model. And this model, we consider that education always a very important pillar for in one of 5 pillars around the research and community governance and communication with the community. And we also have the BDCA process, plan, do, check, act, in the implement the strategy of sustainability. And we also have a strategy with the 2 pillars until 2025 and from 2026 to 2030. From now to 2025, we enhance sustainability awareness in terms of 5 pillars in education, research, governance, operation, and community. And we hope that after 2025, we will empower the act on sustainability by we implement many sustainable actions in education, enhance research for community, with follow the 17 SDGs from United Nations. And in terms of governance, we apply the digital transformation and the concept of sustainability to the governance. And in the campus, we consider it's a living campus. And in the US campus, we have many the challenges like the waste classification, how to reduce carbon, and how to the transportation of the faculty and students to come here. So it's a challenge of the campus. But it's not only the campus, it's the challenge of the bigger space like the city. So we encourage faculty students to solve this problem by education and apply the research to that challenge, and to connect the faculty, the students, to know the challenge and to the way to solve these problems. This is the strategy for up to next 5 years. For example, in the education pillar, last year we applied the new subject, sustainable development, in all major. Not only business and management, technology and design fields have to study this compulsory course. And US, one of the university, have the master program in corporate sustainability, environmental in management. And today is this year is a second batch of the master class. And we arrange the academic program and integrate the sustainability knowledge into the academic program. And of course, we change the way to teach the student based on the student-centered learning. In the research, it's very one of the strengths of the university. Each year we have more than 500 papers published in the Scopus and ISI database, and 70% of this focused on the 17 SDGs. It's very high number. And also students also have joined the research and follow the 70 development goals of the United Nations. And in the campus, we also have applied technology and research to solve the problem in the US campus, like apply the AI to classify the waste in the campus, or we apply the technology in the game to teach the student awareness about the waste classification. In the governance, US is one of the high-level digitalized university. Maybe 1% of student and faculty transaction can be online. So that's why we proud that we can have a good foundation for follow the sustainable governance in the university. And we consider sustainability as a priority in every activities of management, and especially in the OKR, objective key result system. We also put some KPI about sustainability to boost the faculty and the staff to follow that criteria. And we, in the operation, as I said, we consider the US campus is a living campus, and we had to integrate 5 pillars of the sustainability activities to the living campus, like training, research, community, operation, and management. Actually, the results of the project from the recycled waste and the number of students to realize the regulation and 3R principle at UES, and the result research article from student. It's 2 years only. Next. We have the plan for the Pink campus for UES, and from the foundation to the zero carbon campus in next year. We also form the forum to connect, engage all my partners to act for sustainability, like the International Forum Sustainability. And next 2 years, and this morning we had a meeting again, and to discuss about what we can do. We also have many projects in Mekong Delta. We call it US Global Learning, free digital transformation support for high school nationwide, especially during the COVID-19. We support more than 2,000 teachers from high school. They know how to use the technology to teach online for the people and for students. So it's a very effective project. And the challenge we facing many challenges during the sustainable strategy, especially how to connect all partners to come with us for sustainability. Because for UES as a public national university, we feel that we have a responsibility for sustainability. But for other partners, the industry, even the local governments, maybe they have the different understand about sustainability. So how to convince them to form the ecosystem, like Professor Wing said before, the win-win approach, and the role of university. What the role of university in this one? Is this the facilitator or initiator in this process? So we need your experience from the real case, from the World Bank connection, from the current experience in your research, and from home, from your plan to do the program for sustainability. So it's a short story of UES, and now I would like to all of you to hear about the experience of the keynote speaker for each case. And first of all, I would like to invite Professor Leslie Go to say about the theme of the session today, with the topic engaging with the university to empower youth and research in academia for sustainable agri-food system. Leslie is a distinguished international policy advisor working to leverage data and technology innovation in emerging markets, in fintech, in agtech, climate change, digital transformation in government. And Leslie, last year, you joined the fellows at UES for 1 month, and she also the fellow at Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, and senior research fellow at the National University of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. So welcome her to the floor and for her experience. Thank you very much.
last year. And so it's wonderful to be back to my second home. I live in Indonesia now, but I always consider UEH as my second home, home away from home. And this topic today is so close and dear to my heart, related to sustainability, especially the role of academia. And I do a lot of work in the past on smart city, smart nation. I sit on Singapore GovTech board under the Prime Minister's office. For the last 10 years, I've been supporting urbanization and use of technology in smart buildings as well, in designing cities that are highly functioning for the citizen. But I also felt the compelling force to look into the rural development area because 5 years ago, I had the honor of working on some important topic at the World Bank to address AI using technologies such as AI for famine detection, then realizing that it is more than just a one-sided cause of the problem for food security. There are multiple dimensions to this topic. So as I delved deeper into it, I started understanding more about the agri-food ecosystem, not just in the advanced economy, but in many of the developing countries. So 2 years ago, my husband and I moved to Indonesia because he also works for the World Bank, but from the private sector side. So we talk about government support from my side, and then my husband talk about the private sector support. So together we try to form this public-private partnership in real world. But I think in reality, what is the challenge in the agri-food system is multiple folds. And it comes down to a few key factors from an economics perspective. A good number of the populations around the world, about 60% of the world's poor, are in the agriculture space. And so much of them are happening in an ASEAN community in Asia. And what we come to realize is that when it comes to agriculture and agri-food system, it hits many of the SDG goals. In my case, I am particularly worry about the women, the gender dimension, especially because women constitute a large part of the farming communities in many of the developing countries. And also food and nutrition, not just in the planting of the food, the production of the food, but the post-harvest aspect of it. Then there's the whole entire thing related to climate agenda. So that's why we look at this topic very holistically. And my colleague recently published a report, because agriculture, food production is such an important part of our day-to-day life. But at the same time, it also creates a significant part of the problem with regards to climate. And one of the important report that came out was about this illumination on how exactly does agriculture contribute to greenhouse gas emission. And it's even more severe and significant than what we have thought in the past, with the data points supporting the fact that agriculture is about 30% of the agri-food emission, not just on farm, which is the farm gate production, but the post-harvest and the whole land use aspect of it. So this report just came out a couple of months ago. Highly suggest that you have a look at this, because I will kind of summarize some of the key learnings. If you look at the global agri-food system, comparing the what we call the high-income countries, middle-income countries, and the low-income countries. There is that little chart I put at the bottom because I'm trying to squeeze as much information here as possible. You'll realize that middle-income country contributes the highest from the agri-food system production because some of them are highly inefficient. We heard some of the stories around why the use of technology. But I think it's important to also realize that there's a role to play for every country. It's not about finger pointing. It's about how each country at different stage of the economic cycle can really contribute towards a climate smart agriculture. So because of time constraint, I won't go through every single one of them, but I want to highlight Vietnam. Vietnam is in the middle part of the middle income country. We hope in due time, Vietnam will graduate to the advanced economy, to high-income country. But at the same time, we had to deal with the whole agri-food system challenges, the production of the food, especially in some of the key areas that I'm actively working on, which is rice. I don't know if you are familiar how much rice actually contribute to greenhouse gas emission. It's the second only to livestock. Shocking, as one might think. It's not so much the rice itself, but it's the cultivation method of rice, which is a very traditional way of flooding the land. And how do you then help the farmers think about new ways of cultivating rice without taxing the earth, our mother resources, right? So the project that we have done since 2015 called VNSET in Vietnam has been about how do we pilot something of that nature on 185,000 hectares since 2015 to 2022. And we published the findings of that results on how through a very systematic approach using a methodology we call 1M5R. 1 must use certified seeds and 5 reduction. Water, chemical fertilizers, post-harvest loss and waste, the areas around the pesticide use. So these are a holistic approach so that we can help the farmers increase productivity and reduce the farmers' loss and waste, and also reduce carbon emission, methane emission. So it's through this kind of method that inspired the government to dream big, to go after 1 million hectare in the Mekong Delta. You'll get a chance to see some of the Mekong Delta produce in the next couple of days as we go there for the event. So I wanted to highlight what the role of university and how university can help address the agri-food ecosystem and sustainability challenge. We start looking at some of the examples. I want to point out 3 examples because I'm either affiliated with them or partnering with them in various capacity. Cambridge University, where I'm a fellow at Cambridge. The other one is Stanford University. I'll be going there in 2026 and the new climate school. And the third is Indonesia IPB University, focusing on agriculture. And we partner with them in 2020 when we did the data hackathon for Indonesia. So let me just highlight what each of these universities has done to look into a sustainability topic. For Cambridge University, one of the areas that they've done is to engage the community at large. They had this program with the Prince of Wales as a key sponsor and patron for this to highlight some of the key areas for the last 30 years, helping to create capacity building for professionals, experts who are in this space, or board of directors who need to be more aware of it. So the leaders who are making decisions, private and public sectors, need to come together and really help look into this topic holistically. And this was the program they have designed to really address some of the climate crisis and see how we can really look into it from academia, from the public policy, private sector investment, and some of the key stakeholders who are in the ecosystem that you talked about, right? So that's one good example. And the other example is Stanford University. John Doerr donated, from Kleines Perkins, donated $1.1 billion for the climate school. And this is significant because it's a school in Silicon Valley with a strong pedigree of innovations, entrepreneurship, and the ability to solve problems. So if we find a way to use this, the fundings to address this climate issues. So they started a new school for a climate school with this new fund infusion of funds from the philanthropic sources to help create better rigors in academic research, and also a way to connect with leaders from around the world. So I'm very honored to be part of that in 2026. And this is some of the accelerator program they have put together to encourage entrepreneurship, innovation in the ecosystem, private sector participation, but with various support from governments in various countries, not just in US alone. So let's bring it closer to Southeast Asia. These are materials from their respective university, but I wanted to highlight what they have done that is significant that UEH could also learn from. So IPB University is one of the top university in agriculture, and many of the government officials for agriculture or food system come from that university. So it is important to see how they have figured a role for higher education on sustainability, not just a core curriculum, the foundational courses, but also on the capstone project to bring that practical experience closer to the industry for the students that graduate from the school. And they have done this in from the agriculture vertical integration. They're super focused in this area. And we have been very impressed by how much research they've done and also look at it into the entire value chain of agriculture food system transformation. And some of the publication has also been very, very well regarded in the industry. And also the types of programs that they put together in this university is impressive. And this has been a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Just like your impressive journey on sustainability, they also have this program that starts from 2017 all the way to the current state in support of government agenda on food system transformation in Indonesia. And with the new government in place, I'm sure the university also play a very important role in terms of aligning on policy reforms on the big agenda, but also supporting the production of incredible talents for the country. But also very importantly, how they partner and create that kind of innovators that is much needed to transform agriculture at the core. Because we heard about some of the solutions that are out there, but how do you adapt that and bring it closer to the ground, to the people who matters in the agriculture space? So much of what I do is to support and design programs for the smallholder farmer to lift them out of poverty and increase the production of whatever they are working on. And then hopefully they are also adopting the climate smart agriculture approach so that they can produce more, better for their income and better for the community and the nation. And if they export out, then they can also provide food security for the region, but at the same time, not overtaxing the soil and the natural resources. So what IPB has done is to create that kind of holistic approach that partner with public sector, private sector, NGOs, multilateral institutions like ours, and working with a philanthropic organization to get the kind of support and grants to continue funding for their research and also their creative programs to help generate more young farmers or young innovators who could be a contributor to the farming community, not just in the production of food, but also the post-production of food. So I think these are three examples that I can think of that I know quite well, where the roles of university could really help in the sustainable on creating a better agri-food system that will help to address some of our challenges. So I hope that UEH will also have the opportunity to play a significant role now that we know that your government has announced at COP28 the 1 million hectare low methane emission, high quality carbon rice. Now that's going to be a journey in the next few years. And since UEH is strategically located near Mekong Delta, and we're going to be visiting the Vĩnh Long campus tomorrow, I think it's a great position to play in order for UEH to, one, build capacity for government and a national and local level for policymakers, work with industry players, the agribusiness stakeholder to create the right business model and incentive model in order for them to really work together better. Because I always believe that agriculture should also be a very important private sector play. When the private sector finds a way to make money out of it, they will introduce innovation that will create efficiency. The third is also to create young innovators to help these communities with new approach on, let's say, digital MRV monitoring, reporting, and verification of the carbon credits, and then develop the carbon market. That could be a new form of financial instruments to incentivize the farmers to change behavior. So there are many different ways where UEH, through the robust program that we talked about last year when I was here for the Fulbright program, to fill a gap that is currently in the ecosystem, and you are strategically located. I just realized my time is up. So I wanted to give thanks to the amazing leadership here at UEH for always being so kind to me and welcoming me back to my second home. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Leslie, with the very insightful discussion about how to work band to do in sustainability and 3 examples in the university, the role of university for sustainable development. And in three examples, we see that the university begin with the change education program, like the Cambridge, Stanford, also PIP University. And the importance of the university also in the connection between the university and industry, like the Leslie talked about the model in the Indonesia University. So next example from Karen, also the relationship between the university industry partnership. And I would like to welcome Professor Karen Tagulau. She will talk about from science to action, engaging stakeholders for sustainable development in Macau through university and industry partnership. Professor Karen Ano Tagulau is a program coordinator of Master Program in Environmental Science and Management at Institute of Science and Environment, University of St. Joseph, Macau. She also the chair of the University Green Community and involved many research activity. Professor Tagulau focused on ecology, environmental science, with a particular emphasis in marine plants such as mangroves. Her current research focuses on the role of mangrove as a nature-based solution for climate change mitigation adaptation, as well as plastic pollution in treatment in Macau. It's a very interesting topic, so welcome, Professor Karen.
Thank you, Professor Hung. Good morning, everyone. As Professor Hung introduced, I am Karen from Macau, but actually I'm from the Philippines originally. It's my first time here in Ho Chi Minh, but I've been to Vietnam a couple of times, in Hanoi and in Da Nang because it's closer to Macau. My first time here was actually more than 25 years ago. I was a very young scientist then, doing work on mangroves and seaweeds, and I did some field work in Halong Bay with my fellow young scientists, marine scientists. So today, I will be sharing with you some of the work that we do in the university, translating our science into action and engaging some, projects with the university, but also with the government and NGOs. So my vice rector yesterday introduced you about Macau, so I will skip that part. But for those of you who have been to Macau, I think you know how it is. We have a lot of integrated casinos and resorts. So Macau is actually known for that. And our economy is highly reliant to these integrated resorts and casinos. And then, of course, Macau has developed massively, in the past 20 years, growing from just 11 square kilometers to 33 square kilometers now. Can you imagine that? So with this development, we are facing a lot of societal and environmental challenges, okay? And this goes with development. Some of these are because of climate change, but also because of population growth and the other issues associated with this. So because of this, okay, how can the university, we are a small university, we cannot be compared to Cambridge, or stand for, because Macau is also very small, but we are doing our part, okay, in addressing the SDGs. So I will be sharing with you some of the projects that I personally manage, okay, and do with the local industries in Macau. And I put here the government and NGOs as well, because we usually don't work with just one industry, but we also collaborate with the government and NGOs and other stakeholders in the community. And all of these projects actually either directly or indirectly address at least 7 of these SDGs, like SDG 14, SDG 4, which is quality education. And of course, because I'm a marine scientist, I'm a biologist, most of this work are related to SDG 11, 13, 14, 15, 15, which are all related to environment. Of course, the social aspects of these are also very important, but these are, reflected in the projects that we're doing. So, okay, so I want to share with you several of these projects, and you can see this is one example project that we are currently running. I've been running this project for the past 4 years. It's called the Drop by Drop project, and as the word shows, drop by drop, it is related to water. And water is life. Water is very important, and also I think water is also very important here, especially in this region, right? So this is a project that we collaborate with 2 NGOs, actually 1 NGO in the US. It's called the Clean the World Foundation, but now it's called WASH Foundation. And what they do in this project is that they usually collaborate with tourism industry, integrated resorts and casinos, like what we have in Macau. So in these projects, funds, okay, that they are able to save from their water stewardship activities. For example, if you go to a hotel, sometimes or most of the time these days, you will see water saving initiatives inside the hotel room, like you don't have to wash your change your sheets, or for example, the towels can be reused. So savings, okay, from these initiatives are actually reinvested for research and community work. So you have there on the right side will be funds from these savings, and on the right sides are projects that they fund through these initiatives. Okay, so I will share you now some specific examples of these projects that we're currently running. One, so imagine through this drop-by-drop project, we actually carry out scientific research, because I'm a scientist, but in every aspect of the project, we actually also do community work or action, okay? So one of the pet projects that I did was looking at mangroves as nature-based solution for climate change adaptation and mitigation, especially for carbon sequestration, for coastal protection. So this is just an overview of what we do for the scientific research part. Tomorrow, I will give a more detailed story of my research, because I will do a keynote tomorrow. But today, I will just give you an overview, okay, of the scientific work that we do and how we turn it into action. So another topic, which is, I think, very important, is plastic, right? So we also look at how, for example, mangroves. We have mangroves in Mekong Delta. Mangroves can help in plastic mitigation or trapping of plastics. Mangroves are actually amazing. So this is one of the projects, the scientific work that we do. And this one is a new one. Actually, one of the things that we also do, and I think you're also doing this here a lot in the region, is we organize a lot of coastal cleanup activities. But aside from cleanup, we usually gather data, and we use this data to also educate the people and the industry, okay, what not or what to use. However, in the past years, the participants, mainly from the community, usually are hesitant or already too tired to count the litter that they collect. So we have developed an app, okay, that will, it's also AI, that will identify automatically the trash or the litter, classify and count. So this is more convenient, and we are going to do the testing actually end of the month. So on July 27, we are going to test this app with the community. And then this one is also just a project that I'm running now, looking at biodiversity, exploring biodiversity in the urban environment in Macau, and the role of water stewardship. This is about eDNA, environmental DNA, However, we are also, again, doing some community action activities. So let me share with you some of the stakeholders engagement activities that we are doing. So this is one of the activities that is associated with the biodiversity project that I have. This is very good to involve the community, you know, in learning about biodiversity and also be more conscious about the environment. So we opened this last January and we actually received thousands of photos already. So it's a big job now how to judge and evaluate, but this is a good way to engage the community and to promote nature. And then end of this year, we are going to have an exhibition in the Venetian, Macau. It's a big venue where we are expecting thousands of people to attend. We also do a lot of talks and workshops. If I'm not busy, I would actually go to these talks myself. Otherwise, my assistants will do. And we talk about all different topics about environment, of course. Okay, you can see here some. So it is very engaging. We actually bring information or what we do in the lab in a simplified version to the community. So to the schools most of the time, you can see here, we actually engage thousands of students. Yeah, and also adults, okay? So it's not just the students from the schools, but also other members of the community. And especially the team members from the resorts, integrated resorts, casinos that we are working with. Okay, we also have this mobile exhibition, which is very effective. So we have been bringing this exhibition, for example, about mangroves. The topics can change, but we have been bringing this around the schools in Macau, and so far have engaged thousands of students. As you have seen in one of my research projects, we actually measure wave attenuation where there are with or without mangroves, and we actually have a small version of this that we also bring to the schools. So this is a model. Yeah, you can see here, happy faces, learning about the environment. Then we also do a lot of eco tours. I'm sure you also do this in the Mekong, but we do a lot of environmental education. And this one is a project that we do with the government. So every year we have the Macau Green Week, and we are also invited to do activities, green initiative activities with the community, including the government officials. So yeah, just to show you the engagement that we do. And some of these are my students or our students in the university participating in this community engagement activities. And I'm happy to say that this is very successful. Aside from, I'm showing you some photos, but we actually also evaluate the impact of these activities. If there is any change in the mindset or behavior of the students, we have some instruments to do this, to do the evaluation, and the outcomes are actually very positive. Okay, and of course, this is one of my pet projects. We have been doing mangroves planting with the government, okay, and with the NGO and our partners in the industry for the past 10 years. I think it has been quite successful. So we planted, Macau is a very small place. So if you talk about 900 plants, this is actually huge for us. Yeah, and this is the last project that I wanted to share with you. We also collaborate with Win Macau. It's another integrated resort and casino. They have this, I don't know if you're familiar, Wino. So Wino is an AI that can help in the management of kitchens to reduce food waste. This is actually excellent, okay? But the application usually is in big, big scale, okay? But we have this system now in our canteen at the university, and we are now starting to operate and training the staff of the canteen to use this one in order for them to save or to reduce kitchen waste as well as plate waste. So actually, the developer and CEO of Wino actually came to the university just recently to give training and to also give a public lecture. Okay, so key learnings. Education and research are very important, okay, because I think they drive change and the decisions that we make in terms of addressing, for example, environmental issues or societal issues. I think it's very important to integrate science into our decisions, okay? Empower communities through knowledge, like, from research to action. And then collaboration is key. Engage diverse stakeholders, so like what we do, and I think what you are also doing, engage the government, engage the local industries, engage the students, engage the community. And lastly, translating science into action. So apply scientific research to help, this is what I do, to help address societal or environmental issues. And I'm proud to say that in the past 3 years, we have contributed to planting around 2,700 mangroves, and the success rate is very high because this is science-based. We don't go there just to plant. We actually study the environment. We need to engineer the coastline, then we do it, of course, with our collaborators. That's why the success rate is quite high, okay? And then in the past 3 years, for Macau, this is a big number. We have engaged around 57,000 students, plus the community in our efforts. And last but not the least, we actually are a finalist in the Green Gown Awards competition for this year, and the results will come out in October, so I hope we will make it to the end. And this is because of the mangrove project. I call this project Mangrove Magic, because mangrove is really magical. I hope you agree. And this is my team. Okay, I don't work alone. I work with a big group of people, the scientists from USJ. These are all from all different countries, from Africa, from Europe, from Spain, from everywhere. And Felipa Martins is actually from another faculty, but she has been helping me a lot with communication. And Professor Hung mentioned that there are some staff here from communications. I think the job of the communication department is very important. So I'm not an expert in this, but I collaborate a lot with our communications and media office in order for me to promote my science to the community. And aside from that, it's very important, okay? We also have citizen scientists who work with us in gathering data, but also, for example, in our coastal cleanup and other initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Karen. Very meaningful and interesting story about how to connect research to the community, how to translate the scientific paper to the community results, and translate the science in action. It's very important, I think, a very important driver to connect our community in the sustainable ecosystem. So next, I think the last presentation about my friends, Professor Jiyong Eom from Korea. Professor Jiyong Eom is talk about the topic change, disciplinary research and education for sustainability in era of climate change and climate crisis. Professor Jiyong Eom is also associate professor at the School of Business Technology Management at KAIST in Korea. He's also the head of Graduate School of Green Cloud Sustainability and the director of Center for Sustainable Development. His research interests include energy, environmental, economics, management, and integration assessment modeling for climate technology policy analysis. Also climate financial risk management and demand side energy management. So welcome, Professor Eom.
So thank you so much, Professor Hung, for a very kind introduction. And thank you so much for the previous two very excellent presentation. Was so amazed to see how the stakeholder engagement activities are now going on in many different countries around the world. Today, this time, I'm going to change gears a little bit, focusing on the case of our school. So I'm actually representing the newly established graduate school at KAIST, which is called Graduate School of Green Growth and Sustainability, which was established actually last year. So, and I'm going to share what we are doing, what we are planning to do in the foreseeable future. So this is going to be more about planning and vision, not about specific cases, which I wanted to share maybe in a couple of years when I had more chance to come here, visit again. And also actually the topic that I'm going to talk about is more focused on how we can transform industry to be consistent with carbon neutrality. How can we achieve carbon neutrality, which is the goal set by Korean government, and also the many countries around the world. I think a total of 137 or more countries have committed carbon neutrality targets at the national level by the year around 2050. So my talk is more about how can we turn these significant challenges of carbon neutrality into economic development opportunity. This is why we call the name of our school Green Growth and Sustainability, not just for sustainability alone. Let me share. Okay. So here is some background. So as everybody knows, Paris Agreement aims to limit the temperature increase, global mean temperature increase, well below 2 degrees, and with ambition 1.5 degree stabilization target. And IPCC 2018 1.5 special report on global climate change actually said we need to take very aggressive action to achieve global carbon neutrality by around 2050. And to date, so the 147 countries total have declared carbon neutrality targets in one way or another. And in Korea in specific, in 2020, the Korea government declared it would achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. So which is very significant target because there is no obvious indication that Korea economy and also greenhouse gas emissions have peaked yet. So we need to cut down emissions very rapidly and achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And as many of you already knows, Korea economy is heavily, industry focused and heavy manufacturing based industry. So we have very significant challenges in decarbonizing our economy. So far, more than 350 companies have joined Renewable 100, and also around more than 1,000 companies have declared net zero targets so far. And Korea, have specified nationally determined contribution of 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions relative to 2018 level, which is of itself is quite significant challenge. And so in order to achieve that target, Korea government have implemented Framework Act on Carbon Neutrality and Green Growth in year 2022 and decided to provide a total of 420 trillion Korean won in policy finance by 2030, which is about 470 billion US dollar in size to address climate crisis. So we are very much serious about achieving the carbon neutrality target by 2050. So everybody knows, so 1.5 degree target requires net zero carbon dioxide emissions around 2050. So we need a very drastic, immediate action. So the more we delay, the more difficult to get and achieve carbon neutrality. So what does that require? It requires very rapid fundamental and comprehensive transition of economic system. Okay, so this requires very comprehensive. So this is about building sector, transportation sector, and industry sector, and also land use and agriculture sector as well. And also, it requires fundamental change. It's not just modest incremental change. It requires radical changes in every single part of the economy. But at the same time, what makes it even more challenging is that we need to achieve the target within 26 years. So that is within one single generation. Very rapid change is to be made fundamentally and comprehensively. That kind of changes should be made. So this is why we call this grand energy transition and grand economic system transition. So in this spirit, we believe no single discipline or conventional solutions will do. And then we believe integration of science and technology with policy and finance is needed. So science and technology innovation is, of course, very important and pivotal. However, science and technology innovation with understanding about policy environment and also with understanding of the changes in green finance and climate finance is also necessary. And also the policy making and green finance instruments with the recognition of opportunities of science and technology innovation also is very, very important. So this is why we need to collaborate with each other in academic field. And also this is why creativity and interdisciplinarity is very much important to craft innovative and comprehensive solutions, and solutions that can be developed and deployed within one single generation. So this is why we have started a new transdisciplinary graduate school in 2023 to address global climate challenges. Okay, this schematic figure shows what we do in our school. Okay, in terms of education, we try to integrate science and technology. So KAIST, Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, is very well known for science and technology field. So this basically started from the engineering school. So we would like to integrate science and technology with policy and finance discipline. So we have now we have more than 50 faculty members participating in from 16 different academic departments at KAIST. So it spans from science and engineering and social science and policy and economics. So all together, they collaborate with each other with the goal of carbon neutrality and green growth. And then what do you do in terms of research? We set up 4 key areas for carbon neutrality, which is carbon neutrality technology and policy assessment, and carbon neutrality technology system, and green energy system, and resource circulation technology system, which we think will be pivotal, very important to achieve carbon neutrality within one single generation. So this is what I just said. So we have these faculty members joining from 16 different academic departments across KAIST. So they are focusing on all those different key areas of carbon neutrality. So we are actually removing barriers, department to department barriers, so that we are creating an environment where different professors with different academic background can work together for joint understanding and also with a shared vision. Our vision is to respond to the global climate crisis and contribute to green growth by nurturing talent to promote carbon neutrality. So KAIST is actually has been the public funded university. So we have clear vision of nurturing core talents for the nation. So we'd like to turn these significant carbon neutrality challenges into opportunities for economic development, opportunities for taking responsibility as one of the most responsible actually economies around the world in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So we have three strategic goals. One is education, the other one is research, and third one is international collaboration. Okay, in terms of education, so we set the goal of establishing a carbon neutrality talent incubator. So by creating an environment, a conducive environment for where the science and technology can be integrated with policy and finance. And in terms of research, we try to develop what we call climate solutions exchange, where the supplier of climate technologies can work together with the demand, those who demand climate technologies. So thereby establishing a platform where innovative ideas and climate solutions can be exchanged and to give impacts. Lastly, the global green, so we'd like to establish global green growth hub where many different innovative ideas for green growth can be exchanged domestically and internationally. So this is our model. So we have currently PhD program and master program, and all of our curriculum actually integrates many different fields for carbon neutrality. And we'd like to serve as a domestic hub for education and research on carbon neutrality. In terms of research, the way how we position ourselves uniquely in university setting is that we'd like to establish what we call climate intelligence. Okay, so this is intelligence, meaning that there are so much of information around, so much of information, but the information needs to be helpful for decision making, right? So we'd like to drive science and technology solutions for carbon neutrality through carbon neutrality assessment and evaluation of climate technology and policies. So we think the evaluation and assessment is really important because that can give us guidance in policy decision making and also business decision making as well, and also climate impact assessments. So this is one important pillar of our research, and then we've been recruiting professors around the world who can do this kind of climate intelligence work. And also the other important pillar of our research is systems thinking and problem solving. So we are not doing just research for research. We are doing research in order to solve the problem of carbon neutrality. So this is a unique, actually the matrix, what we call the transdisciplinary research matrix we have. So the column indicates different departments and different academic disciplines, and the rows shows the four key area of carbon neutrality, what I just mentioned. So they worked, so many different professors and researchers and students actually work together in this unique mesh setting, and then thereby removing barriers, removing department to department barriers, and just collaborating with each other in a very effective way in many different types of projects. And this is the last part of our strategic goal, which is international collaboration, which I think we need to do better job. So this is, the school just started, so
the participants in the hall can write the question for three keynote speakers. It's a very big issues nowadays, so we can put any question you want about the sustainability. So with the time limitation, I go to the first question for me, and I think the second question for the floor. The first question, can you summarize the role of university in the sustainability strategy? So Leslie, you first.
Thank you. I think it's hard to summarize all these great points from all the speakers, but I think one thing comes to my mind is learning is a lifelong journey. And university like UEH play a critical role from the point of first entry to a continuation of that learning, because there is so much that's happening around the world right now on sustainability. I'm learning so much from my esteemed speakers here. So I think it's not just a point in time where the university has to be evergreen in being relevant to this topic and providing not just research topic, but also industry relevance, and how do you create that commercialization model through partnership with the private sector, and also a strong relationship with government policymakers, so that there is a way to bring this multi-stakeholder together. And then, of course, when you show value, the funders from various sources, not just from government, and also philanthropic sources will come into play, or international support that will bring in the kind of investment to help you in terms of resource mobilization. So I think that lifelong learning is a critical part for sustainability. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think so the model for education research is changing when it comes to the issue of climate change. So we have not enough time to solve this issue. So this is kind of all hands efforts needs to be made, and removing any barriers between department and disciplines, right? So I think the way we, at least me, actually think about this issue is probably the university academics need to start to think about, you know, how can we reorganize the way we educate and doing research in terms of the focusing on the problem to solve, okay? And probably what it can do is probably to reorganize all of the things according to missions, the clear missions, right? It can be either carbon neutrality or green growth, or maybe some big agenda to solve, or maybe some stakeholders to serve. So we may need to set up some clear goal, clear mission, the clear problem, so that we can move and we can innovate more effectively. Okay, so that's what the way how we think about the issue.
Yes, the university has a very important role, or universities have a very important role, because number one, education is key, as I mentioned in my presentation, but not just present education. As Dr. Leslie said, lifelong learning is also important. So we can, or we must integrate sustainability concepts, for example, in our courses, like what you're doing now, but we must also continuously offer courses to students or stakeholders outside of the university to educate them. And number two is research. I think universities are very important in doing research, especially for addressing issues in the environment or societal issues like climate change mitigation and adaptation, because this is key, okay, for informed decision making, not just for policymakers, but all other stakeholders. And number three is universities should be a venue to gather together, or a platform to gather stakeholders like government, community members, and industries to discuss and solve societal and environmental issues. Thank you.
So the role of university should be the initiator or facilitator for the connection, the engagement of the community?
I think we should initiate. We should be the.
So in summary, I think that the university have three strong in terms of connect to everyone in the community in sustainability, because the university is the hub of talents. We had many students, the best students, to come to the university to learn about the new knowledge. And the second, that university is the hub of young men. It's from 18 to 20s, many powerful, and energy to do everything new. And the last one, I think it's very important. That's a hub of hope for the future, for a better future. Because as a young man, everyone can think about a better life. So with the thinking that we have the creation, innovation, so we can have the new way to adapt the challenges. I think so. How about the audience, participants? The president, vice president of University of St. Joseph? Or any question from Professor Nam? And one more from my students, maybe?
So I'm from the University of Technology, Hồ Chí Minh City. So I also have experience on say cooperate between the say university and the the firm. And the question that what is your experience to promote the relationship between the say entrepreneurship, entrepreneur industry and university to come with the sustainability? Because that, for example, even though we have ESG criteria, but that is not the compulsory. So the firm, the industry, they focus on the profit. So that's why when we promote the sustainability activity, they usually they refuse to do that, and up to some point when they lost their profit and they back to the university and ask about the action plan or something like that. But so that's why we are new on this one. So that's why we add your experience on how to cooperate or how to promote the relationship between the industry and the university. Okay.
Thank you for your question. It's a main challenges I mentioned in the beginning of the session. It's very difficult to connect between the university to the private industry, because profit is very important to them. So what your experience about that?
So actually, I spent most of my life in private sector, actually. I was also an entrepreneur for 15 years. So understanding the mindset of private sector is very important, right? And now I'm mostly in government and private sector and academia. So I think one important thing is that there's a shift of redefining what ESG really means. And many regulators, policymakers are now looking into it to prevent greenwashing and also addressing some of these issues around standards. It's looking into the disclosure requirement as a very important for many organizations to have scope 1, 2, and 3 measurements. And if it's now, in some countries, are now becoming a requirement for big corporation as well as SME. So that becomes a very important topic when it becomes a mandatory requirement. So many firms have to act on it. So it's no longer a choice. So that's one thing. If it's a required disclosure reporting requirements rather than a nice to have for various greenwashing purposes. Second is that besides there's always an incentive for people to act, right? Carrot or stick. So besides doing the stick, you have to give them carrots. Right? The incentive for private sector to act is there a way to create a business model that will perpetuate beyond the green fashion? So the answer is yes. I think in many cases, I can speak about the agriculture part more because this is one area I'm deeply involved in several countries in Southeast Asia, looking into ways to create more climate finance. Because traditionally, many policymakers have kicked the policy down the road because they don't one, they don't have the funding, and two, is that a popularity vote or not? Now we can think about carbon credits as a new financing instrument if we can figure a way to collect the data, monitor, and validate that data in a robust manner that is scientifically proven that to prevent greenwashing. So if that's the case, then the value of the carbon credits will have a place in the market force, and that will incentivize the kind of business to participate in it and to also change their behavior. So the carrot and stick incentive model needs to happen for the sustainability to really be relevant, and how university can play an important role once you look into the carrot and stick model of how the private sector will be incentivized to work. Carbon accounting is one important topic. Many universities are looking into it right now to align with better standards globally, and to institute and train and create the kind of rigors for standards for carbon accounting. The other one is also about the technology in terms of various ways where your university has demonstrated very good examples of how you use the technology to create high level of transparency and accountability and traceability. Otherwise, you can't really trust whatever that's reported. So those are the few examples where the university can play a significant role with the shift of paradigm to create a greater sustainable practice that is financially sustainable, not just, oh, nice to have. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me briefly add. Probably the experience that what I got, with these Korean companies mostly, is that in terms of big size companies, the big companies actually they are very much interested in how can they completely decarbonize their operation, from their operation of carbon emissions, because many of them actually have set up net zero targets by 2030 or 2040 or 2050. Okay, so what they expect from university academics is solutions. Okay, how can they achieve carbon neutrality target, which is very much significant, very much difficult for them to achieve. For example, there are many so-called hard-to-abate sectors, including iron and steel industry, and also shipping and aviation industry, and chemical industry. How can they achieve carbon neutrality? So they expect us technology innovation that can be scalable, easily deployable in solutions. So that's the utmost priority for them. In terms of SMEs, as Professor Go mentioned, in Korea, the mandatory implementation of disclosure has been suspended after 2026, but still they are under significant pressure to be ready and capable of accounting their carbon emissions in every field of their operations. So that's something what those SMEs want universities to take action, to nurture talents who can do that kind of work, and then nurture talents who can provide innovative solutions in terms of carbon accounting and measurements.
So thank you all. Karen, you have any experience?
The context of Macau is a bit different. For example, the industries, the two main, the big ones in Macau, whom we collaborate, which is Sands China and Wynn Macau, are two big players in the integrated resort casino industries. ESG is a requirement. Sustainability is also a requirement within the ESG, and all of these big players actually have their sustainability departments and are required some targets. So in my experience, they were actually the one who asked us. And I think this is also based on trust. They know what we're doing. They know our publications and the outputs that we have. So I think trust there is very important. And then when they invest on the projects, on sustainability, for example, you have to show them like concrete outputs and visibility. And So far, we have been working with them for 5 years. And actually, just before I came this morning, SANS China contacted me to invite me to do a research project on how to recycle oysters, how to use oyster shells for rehabilitation of reefs, which is, I'm very happy about this. I hope it will materialize. It's another new project.
Okay, thank you. Let's go talk about regulation framework, legal framework for cooperation between the university and industry. And we talk about the role of education and the trust from parents. So I think the very important issue that the university should do the best, the core competency of the university, the high quality of education, the research with the best result to solve the problem for the community. It's a very foundation for connect everyone, especially community, to the university. Yeah. So give the floor to Professor Nam.
I am Nam from UEH. I would like to pick Karen's point, your last point, when you answer to Professor Hung's first question. You talk about university can do stakeholder engagement. But my question is for Professor Eom. In your presentation, you say that KAIS, your school, when you do research on economic growth and green growth and sustainability, you follow the transdisciplinary approach. Correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that transdisciplinary approach have two key dimensions. The first one is that multidisciplinary. It means that you invite many scientists from different disciplines like economists, ecologists, psychologists, sociologists, a group of brilliant guys working in a team like what you saw. But the second dimension of transdisciplinary is the stakeholders. The second, stakeholder engagement, you need to involve like government official, private sector, mass organization, women group, youth group, indigenous group, marginalized group into your research process to produce the action-oriented research for sustainability, and how a university can do stakeholder engagement effectively. That's my question. That I do transdisciplinary approach like 10 years ago, but I always find very difficult to engage stakeholder in research. Thank you.
Very short question, a very short answer also.
Super important question. So we need to do a better job in engaging many different stakeholders in our process of education and research. So far, we have been engaging industry stakeholders and government stakeholders and financial stakeholders, but not yet at the communities in Korea and in Asia. We need to do a better job in that. So probably many innovative ideas can come up while engaging with those community stakeholders. But thank you so much for commenting that. Yeah.
Thank you, Om. I know that Professor Nam have many questions for you about the new school. Yeah, but later. So, sorry, Han. We have one last question for the session. So I would like to invite my student. You have a question? So Professor Han, we have time during lunch. We can discuss.
Good morning, professors. I am a student at the UEH University, so I have a question for you. Can you share me about the most important lessons about the way we change into the sustainable culture in both our organization in general and the universe in particular? Yeah, thank you.
You mentioned about the culture of sustainability in the organization, right? So maybe one can answer the question, right? We have no time. So maybe let's deal with expertise in sustainability.
Well, it's a very important and good question. I'm glad you bring it up. And I think one must start with individual first. Because if you look at sustainability at large, right, this has been a topic, everyone knows about the 1.5 degrees Celsius, right, for many, many years, decades. Science have shown us, but politicians have ignored it in many countries. But what moves is where their young people, like yourself, are rising up with a voice stronger than before. And you're bringing attention to all the folks around the world. And I like to encourage all of you, the young, the youth, the young leaders, to continue pushing this topic to the top of policymakers and private sector to take responsibility of the action, that they need to leave the planet in a better state than what it is for you and your future generations to come. So I think it starts with individual, taking an active stand and being not accepting the status quo as it is, and making sure that everyone has a role to play, not leave it to someone else, not pointing fingers at different countries, but coming together as one united world. And that's important. So it all starts with individual. Behavior change of an individual will help also move the mindset of the family, of the community, of the country, of the government, and the rest. So I think that's an important factor. Without that, there's no way we can really talk about this in a very vacuum way and a very, very high lofty manner where someone else would do it, not me. So I think we all can have a part to play in small or big ways. And I would encourage you to keep asking those questions until you get the answer you want and you be part of the solution as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie. Go very short term, from small to big. It's okay? From small to big, we have the trust to make the engage each other, right? So Thais, can I have one more? Thais, it's about 1 hour more. Very short question. So the last question.
So my name is Nga. I'm the host of the communication channel because we think that we need to engage everybody in this sustainability. So we did the podcast named The Seed of Green Future in Vietnam. So my question is for all of you that, as Dr. Hung, you said that university is hub of hope and talent. So it's so great that all the research, all the valuable information is on the paper, and inside the university it cannot viral, especially for the young generation and some people who, I can say, the low mindset, such as the worker, the farmers, or the many people, they cannot understand what is sustainability. So I would like to ask you, in your country, how or what did you do to raise the awareness or the interesting of every people to this sustainability? And the second, I would like to suggest to UEH, can our podcast cooperate with you to deliver all the message or the research in a simple way, very easy for everybody to understand your research? That's my two questions. Thank you so much.
I can answer the question too. Yes.
Yeah.
So we can discuss later.
Yeah, I will.
But for the question one, for me, for university, we have a very combination work, local. Local means a combination with the global and local. We mean that we receive a global knowledge, but we have to apply the local, practical. So it's the answer of the audience. So for in detail, we can discuss later about that. So.
Yeah, based on my experience, because as I explained in my presentation, I'm a scientist, but I collaborate significantly with our colleagues from the communications and media, because communication is key in translating the science into actionable measures. So there are a variety of ways, I think, in which we can explain our very technical work, in a simplified way. So through animations, through videos, we also have booklets, a lot of other media. So I think it's important to collaborate with, you are from the communications department, right? So you are not a technical person or a scientist, but I think we can explain these concepts to you, and you can, use your skill to help us translate this for the community. And it's very effective, based on my experience.
Great one. So to your point around how do people who are low literacy really understand sustainability? You're 100% right. Many of the smallholder farmers that we work with in Vietnam, the first question they'll ask, how is this going to bring food to the table and feed my family? First and foremost, before we talk about sustainability or carbon credits. So that's the reason why for our project, and VN said it's public information, you can read the project completion report. The first priority for that project outcome is to measure the farmer's income and the productivity of the farm. That is our first and foremost responsibility to our key stakeholder, which is the smallholder farmer, through the government intervention. And then now that we have done the project successfully for 185,000 hectares, the key question is, if we're going to scale it up to 1 million hectare, how would the farmers benefit from it, right? And if we really can cultivate these carbon credits from these production on the 1 million hectare, how would the carbon credits funding goes back to the smallholder farmer? Then only then will they be incentivized to participate and change their cultivation method. So I think that is the important part. How do you really help the farmers or any of these stakeholders understand how it matters to them on the topic of sustainability, not on lofty principle, but on something that is very basic to their needs. Thank you.
Yeah, very short. So I think communication is really important. So we are not doing this just for 5-year projects. We are doing this for century-long projects. That means we need to raise ambition. According to NDC, National Determined Contributions on the Paris Agreement, we need to raise ambition every 5 years. How can we make that possible? So communication is really, really important, and that would make policy feasible and increasing our ambition toward carbon neutrality possible. Otherwise, it will be never possible. Thank you.